You've got 6 minutes. 6 minutes to decide if you're going to keep living a life built on other people's opinions, or finally take control of your own damn narrative. That's it. 6 minutes. Not 6 months, not 6 years. 6 minutes. You're sitting here scrolling, consuming, wasting time, while time is straight up eating your life. You're 22, cool. You're 47, even better. I don't care how old you are. If you've got breath in your lungs, you've still got plays left. But the clock doesn't care about your excuses. You keep saying you don't have time, but you watched 19 episodes of that show last week. You keep saying you don't know how, but you haven't even Googled it. You say you're tired because you're not excited. You're tired because you're spending your energy on pretending instead of building. You're tired because you're living a life that was never yours to begin with. People are worried about opinions from people who don't even like themselves. You're out here shaping your decisions based on what someone might comment on your post. Someone who's sitting on their couch doing nothing. Stop valuing noise over results. You've got this window, this little spark in your gut, and if you don't listen to it, it'll go quiet. And then you'll be 80, looking back, wondering why you didn't bet on yourself. Look, nobody owes you shit. And that's the most liberating thing you can realize. No one's coming to save you. That's not bad news. That's power. That means it's all on you now. You get to build it. You get to own the wins. And yeah, the losses too. But guess what? You'll lose anyway if you don't try. So would you rather lose on someone else's terms or yours? Everybody wants to win, but nobody wants to eat dirt for 5 years. You want the fancy life, the followers, the respect, but you're scared to be embarrassed for a season. Let me tell you something. Embarrassment is a fucking illusion. Nobody's thinking about you as much as you think they are. You think they're watching you fail? They're not. They're too busy worrying about their own stuff. So go fail. Loudly, publicly. That's how you learn. That's how you win. This isn't about motivation. Motivation is cheap. This is about decision. What are you going to decide to do when this rant ends? Are you going to put the phone down and build? Or are you going to go back to pretending? Pretending you're fine. Pretending you've got time. Pretending that the version of you inside your head is just too hard to become. Bullshit. You've just been avoiding the work. And the work, the actual blood, sweat, crying on the floor at 2 a.m. in work, that's the price of greatness. So what if it takes 10 years? 10 years of sacrifice for 60 years of fulfillment? You're telling me that's not worth it? If you can't give 6 minutes of real focus, how the hell are you going to handle 6 decades of building something meaningful? You're one post away, one DM away, one hard conversation away, one sleepless night away. You're closer than you think. But you keep hitting snooze on your potential because you're addicted to comfort. Comfort is the enemy. Comfort is the reason you're stuck. You've been lied to. You were told to play it safe. You were told to follow the rules. You were told to color inside the lines and hope someone picks you. And that. Pick yourself. 6 minutes. 6 minutes to wake the hell up and realize this is your life. No dress rehearsal, no redo button. Just you, your time, and the truth. What you do next, that's everything. So, that's everything. 6 minutes, 6 minutes, 6 minutes. Let's cut through the fluff. Time doesn't care about your feelings. Time doesn't stop because you're tired or scared or waiting for the right moment. It just keeps moving. And the brutal truth, every second you spend making excuses is a second you could have used to move forward. But you didn't. You stalled. You hesitated. You gave into the illusion that there's always more time. But there isn't always more time. So what if you have time and you have limited time? What if you say, that's a lie you've been sold to keep you passive? You think you've got years to figure it out? And maybe you do. Or maybe you don't. Maybe this is your only shot at building the life you actually want. So the question becomes, what are you doing with your hours? Because talk is cheap and the scoreboard doesn't care about your intentions. You say you don't have time? Bullshit. You had time to binge Netflix. You had time to scroll TikTok for 45 minutes. You had time to gossip, to overthink, to doubt yourself into paralysis. You had time to procrastinate. So don't tell yourself the lie that you're too busy. You're just not prioritizing your growth. Excuses feel good in the short term. They comfort you, they justify your fear, they let you off the hook. But long term, they're poison. They rob you of opportunity, they steal your momentum, and eventually they become your identity. You stop saying, I'm working on it, and you start believing you're not capable. That's how people get stuck in average. Not because they lack talent, but because they let their excuses become bigger than their drive. You're not falling behind because life is unfair. You're falling behind because you keep choosing easy over necessary. Because instead of waking up early, you hit snooze. Because instead of posting that idea, you overthink it. Because instead of taking the risk, you let your fear talk you out of it. Again. Everyone has 24 hours. That's the one thing that doesn't discriminate. The successful people you admire, they're not magical. They just decided to stop making excuses and start making moves. They're not lucky. They just kept showing up while everyone else was still talking about it. Here's a hard truth. No one cares about your reasons. They care about your results. Life doesn't hand out medals for almost trying. Either you show up and put in the reps, or you stay exactly where you are. Simple. Harsh? Yeah, but freeing, because it means you have all the power. You can change your story, not tomorrow, not next month, now. But you have to want it badly enough to call yourself out. You have to catch yourself in the moment of excuse making and say, no, not this time. That takes discipline, that takes self-awareness, that takes being brutally honest with yourself about where your time is really going. Time is not your enemy. You are, if you keep wasting it. So what will it be? More excuses or more execution? Because those are the only two paths. One leads to regret, the other leads to growth. One keeps you safe, the other sets you free. You get to choose, you always have. But the clock, it's ticking either way. Let's get this straight. Most people are building their lives around what other people might think. Not what they want, not what fulfills them, but what will keep them from being judged. That's the trap. That's why people stay in dead-end jobs, keep toxic relationships, go to schools they hate, buy things they can't afford, because they're chasing approval instead of purpose. Think about how insane that is. You're waking up every day, putting on clothes someone else approves of, doing work someone else told you is respectable, and swallowing your voice just to avoid rocking the boat. You're literally spending your one shot at life trying to win a popularity contest that no one is even watching. People are terrified of being judged, but here's the truth. They're already judging you. Whether you play it safe or go all in on your dreams, they're going to talk. So why not be judged for trying instead of sitting still? Why not be judged for building the life you actually want? The irony is, most people who criticize you aren't even happy with their own lives. They're projecting their own fears and regrets onto you. They see your ambition, your risk-taking, your confidence, and it threatens them. So they laugh, they doubt, they whisper. And if you're not careful, you believe them. You believe them. You let their limited mindset shrink your potential. Here's the wake-up call. Nobody thinking small is gonna understand someone thinking big. So stop looking for validation from people who gave up on their own dreams years ago. Your parents, your friends, your teachers, your followers, they don't have to get it. You have to get it. You have to believe in your vision enough to move even when no one else claps. People waste decades trying to fit into boxes they were never meant to be in. They go to college for a degree they don't care about. They take jobs for the title, not the mission. They post filtered versions of themselves online just to be liked by strangers. And what does it lead to? Burnout, depression, emptiness. Because pretending is exhausting. Living for others is soul killing. You don't need everyone to like you. You don't need everyone to like you. You don't need everyone to like you. You need to like yourself when you're alone with no applause. When the phone is down and the room is silent, do you feel proud of who you are? That's the real test. That's the real game. Because the applause fades, the likes stop, and the world moves on. But you have to live with the choices you made. You will never build something great if you're constantly checking over your shoulder. You have to go all in on your truth. And yeah, people will talk, they'll laugh, they'll doubt, but if you keep going, those same people will ask you how you did it. And when that day comes, and it will, you'll realize they were never the obstacle. You were. The freedom you're looking for doesn't come from money or status. It comes from being unshakably yourself. It comes from no longer asking for permission. It comes from owning your weird, your bold, your dreams that don't make sense to anybody else. That's where power lives. That's where fulfillment begins. So stop handing your life over to opinions that don't matter. Stop editing yourself to fit someone else's comfort zone. Stop waiting for approval to start living, because the moment you stop living for them, you finally start living for you. Here's the truth that most people don't want to hear. No one is coming. Not your parents, not your boss, not your partner, not your best friend, not some magical mentor, and definitely not some motivational quote you read online. No one is coming to fix your life. No one is coming to hand you the dream job. No one is coming to wake you up at 5 a.m. to chase your goals. It's just you. And while that might sound harsh, it's actually the most empowering thing you can realize. Because if no one's coming to save you, then you hold all the power. You're not waiting anymore. You're not hoping anymore. You're owning it. All of it. The problem is, we're raised to believe in systems that babysit us. Go to school, follow the rules, get good grades, and someone will take care of you. Someone will hire you. Someone will promote you. Someone will give you the life you want. And when that doesn't happen, we freeze. We panic. We wait for someone to give us permission to live boldly. But the world doesn't owe you anything. And that's not a reason to be bitter. It's a reason to wake up. Because once you stop expecting other people to carry you, once you stop blaming the government, the algorithm, your past, your boss, or your ex, that's when you take your power back. The truth is, most people want to be rescued. They want someone to come in and solve everything for them. Why? Because it's easier than facing the mirror. It's easier to blame the outside world than to admit you've been playing small. But growth starts with radical ownership. It's not my fault. Not, they did me wrong. Not, I just need one more break. No, it's my life, my choices, my responsibility. That doesn't mean every bad thing that's ever happened to you is your fault. Life throws punches. Some of them are brutal, but how you respond, that's all you. You get to choose whether you stay down or get back up. You get to choose whether you complain or create, whether you watch or build. You want change? Then be the change. You want success? Then show up for it. Every day, when it's hard, when no one believes in you, when the results aren't coming yet. That's what it means to own your life. That's what it means to lead yourself. Nobody gets to the top by accident. They climb, they fall, they bleed, they own every inch of the process. And if you want that kind of freedom, real freedom, then you have to stop waiting for someone to hand it to you. You have to take it. Yes, it's heavy. Yes, it's uncomfortable. But it's also the most liberating decision you'll ever make. To stop outsourcing your future to other people. To stop waiting for the right moment. That moment is now. right now, right here. You don't need a miracle. You need to make a move. Look around. Most people are stuck because they never took ownership. They kept waiting for something or someone to shift things for them. Years pass. Regret builds. Dreams die in silence. Don't let that be your story. You're not broken. You're not too late. You're not missing anything except the decision to go all in on your own life. Own the pain, own the setbacks, own the wins, own the grind, because once you do, no one can take that power away from you. Ever. Let's stop acting like failure is the enemy. It's not. The real enemy is hiding from it, running from it, pretending you're perfect when you're not. That's what's keeping you stuck. That's what's killing your momentum. You're so scared of failing that you don't even start. Or worse, you start in silence, hoping no one sees you mess up. But here's the truth. If you want to win big, you have to fail loud. Failure is the tuition you pay for success. It's not optional. You don't get to skip it. You don't get the results without the reps. And yes, that means falling flat on your face. In public, where people can see, where they might laugh, where they might doubt you. But if you can push through that, you become unbreakable. The people you admire, they failed more times than you've even tried. They've been laughed at, ignored, mocked. They've had posts flop, businesses tank, ideas crash and burn, and you know what they did? They kept going. Because they knew that failure wasn't the opposite of success. It was the process of success. Here's the thing. Every time you fail publicly, you build credibility. Not with the people watching, with yourself. You prove that you can take hits and still show up. That you don't fold when things get uncomfortable. That you're not in it for the applause. You're in it for the growth. But most people never get there. Why? Because they're obsessed with image. They want to look successful before they are successful. So they filter everything. Every post, every move, every idea gets run through a lens of, will this make me look good? And that right there is the ceiling. That's the cap on their potential. Because they won't risk looking foolish. You can't build greatness from behind a mask. People don't connect with your perfection. They connect with your process. They connect with your grind, your setbacks, your honesty. When you show the work, the missed shots, the losses, the messy middle, you don't lose credibility, you gain it. Because people see you're real. We're in a world addicted to highlights. But real leaders, real builders, they show the bloopers too. And that's what makes people root for them. That's what makes the wins mean something. When you finally break through, when you do win, it's not a surprise. It's the result of all those public L's you were willing to take. Look, you're gonna fail anyway. So why not make it count? Why not fail in the open where you can learn faster, grow stronger, and inspire others who are scared to even try? You have no idea who you're giving permission to when you show your setbacks. There's someone watching you right now, wondering if they're allowed to take a shot. Be the one who shows them yes. Even if it doesn't work out right away, perfection is a lie, failure is truth. Failure means you showed up. It means you took the risk. It means you care enough to try. And the moment you stop hiding it, the moment you start owning your losses just as loudly as your wins, that's when you become dangerous. That's when you become free. So yeah, fail. Fail big. Fail often. Fail publicly. Because every time you do, you're one step closer to the version of yourself who doesn't just dream, but does. Comfort is the quiet killer of dreams. Think about it. Every time you've grown, learned something new, or pushed past your limits, it was uncomfortable. The first time you tried something outside your skill set, it was awkward and scary. The first time you put yourself out there, vulnerable and uncertain, your heart probably raced and your mind screamed at you to quit. That's the real work. That's where growth lives, in the place where comfort ends. But most people avoid discomfort like the plague. They stay in their safe bubbles, swiping, scrolling, numbing out instead of leveling up. Because discomfort demands effort. It demands facing fears, risking failure, and enduring the grind without instant validation. Comfort is easy. It's predictable. It's the cozy couch instead of the cold pavement where you hustle. The problem is, you can't have both. You can't have comfort and growth. You have to pick a lane. If you want to stay in your comfort zone, that's fine, but know that means settling for a life that's just okay. If you want to be extraordinary, you have to get ready to be uncomfortable, to take risks, to work when no one's watching, to push past pain, rejection, and doubt. Look at every success story you admire. What do they all have in common? They embraced discomfort. They worked insane hours. They handled rejection after rejection. They put themselves out there when it was easier to hide. They chose growth over ease every single day. And here's something even more important. Discomfort is temporary, but the rewards are lasting. That moment of awkwardness, that sting of failure, it passes. What stays? The new skill, the stronger mindset, the closer step toward your dreams. Growth is messy and uncomfortable, but it builds resilience, confidence, and power. Comfort just builds complacency. Also, discomfort teaches you what you're really made of. When things get tough, when you're tested, your true character shows up. If you've only ever lived in comfort, you won't know how to handle the storms. But if you've chosen growth, if you've pushed through the hard times, you become unstoppable. So what's holding you back? Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of judgment. Those fears are just signals that you're on the edge of growth. They're not reasons to stop. They're reasons to keep going. Lean into that discomfort. Use it as fuel. Let it sharpen you. Remember, comfort doesn't just kill growth, it keeps you trapped in a cycle of what ifs and maybe someday. It convinces you that the safe choice is the smart choice. But here's the kicker. The safest choice is often the riskiest in the long run. Because playing it safe means playing small. It means never truly testing what you're capable of. You have this one life, one chance. If you want to look back and say, I gave it everything I had, you have to be willing to walk through discomfort, to sit with the hard questions, to do the work no one else sees, to get up when you're tired and keep going when it hurts. Comfort is a trap disguised as a blessing. Don't fall for it. Don't trade your dreams for a cozy routine. Instead, chase the discomfort that comes with growth, because that's where your future self is waiting. Stronger, wiser, proud. The choice is yours. Comfort or growth, safe or bold, settling or thriving. What do you want your life to say about you? Because comfort won't make that story worth telling, but discomfort just might.